Welcome to Special Guest Thursdays on the Final Boss podcast, where legends pull up, the mic gets hot, and the community gets loud. Each week, your host Turbo the CEO goes live with game changers, thought leaders, and culture shifters. From raw interviews to the hottest trending topics, and real talk on community impact. This is where voices rise and stories ignite. So buckle up, press play, and get ready to level up with Turbo. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement.
Welcome to the Final Boss podcast, episode number 200. Episode number 200, man. We made it. We made it. We made it. Listen, tonight is a special night, right? Tonight is a special night. And man, unbelievable, right? To the beautiful Andrea, thank you so much. Thank you for being here since day one. Thank you for your support. As always, you know. Man. You know, you said something earlier. Hey, get out. Look, I know you're in the bathroom and you planning you're doing what you do, right? Get out the bathroom. I'm talking to you. Come to the screen, right? You said something earlier, and you said, I act like this is the last episode. Well, it kind of sort of is, right? But not in that particular aspect that you're thinking. It is the last episode of Reckoning, right? It is the last episode of Reckoning. And from here, it's only up from here. It's only up from here. Because in Reckoning, we pursued. In Rebirth, we become, right? We become. So, man. To each and every last single one of you, thank you for joining us, man. This is episode 200. I'm going to be saying that all night. I'm going to be saying it all night, right? Not as a reminder, but look, I can't believe, I myself can't believe that I have 200 episodes. 1 hour each episode, right? Hey, Chakani, thank you. I appreciate you. Yes. I am the best. I know. Evil laugh. Oh, thank you for being here. I appreciate you, Ma. Look, I love you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Hey, Messi, thank you for joining us. Look, before I get into tonight's show, man, look, you know, this is momentous for me, right? Hey, what's going on? This is momentous. This is a moment and a momentous occasion. Look, not many podcasts make it past episode 5. They don't. A lot of them die in the wilderness early on. They don't even make it to episode 10. Go look at the statistics. Go look at the podcasting statistics of how many episodes either make it past 10, and then from there make it to 100, then to episode 200, right? And tonight we're going to set in motion, because after tonight, we're setting in motion for the next 200, right? And you know what? I haven't had one of these in months, but I was craving one, so I had it. I've been drinking water like a nomad, man. No energy drinks, just water and coffee. But tonight, I'm going to enjoy this right here, right? Bottoms up. Ah, man. Whew. Man, I used to have to drink one of those almost daily, but I cut it all off, man. I cut off a lot of stuff, man. And the reason why I did, man, I'm talking about across the board. I'm talking about personal. I'm talking about just everything, man, because I have to be living what I preach, right? I have to be living what I preach. And not what I'm only preaching, but what I'm teaching. And in that, I have to be a product. I have to be my own product, right? And speaking of which, if you haven't gotten Go Time, all aboard the Fired Up Train, go get Go Time, all aboard the Fired Up Train, where all books are sold. This is the motivation workbook. It's the motivation textbook, right? It's the motivation textbook. And classes will be starting soon. Classes will be starting soon, right? So go pick up, get a head start. Go Time, all aboard the Fired Up Train, where all books are sold, right here. I'm running a special next month, right? I'm running a special next month, probably mid-March, man. Something unbelievable, something you guys have never even heard of, right? As we go into the rebirth, right? Mid-March, we're going to be calling it the spring rebirth, right? The spring rebirth. And it's going to be a whole marketing campaign, not only around the book, but around the program, around the show, around books to come. I'm telling you, man, you don't want to miss it. That's going to be in the middle of March, at the beginning of season 4, right? At the beginning of season 4, the rebirth. So now we have that out the way. Let's get into tonight's show, right? Episode 200. Tonight's show is reasons to still be standing. You thought I wasn't going to be teaching tonight. You thought, well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to be teaching tonight, right? Now listen, it's the last episode. So go grab your pens, grab your paper. It's time to take notes because class is in session, people. Class is in session. And you know what? While you're going to do those items, we're going to have a quick moment of silence, right? A quick moment of silence. Whew. Boom. Moment of silence complete. Thank you for doing that with me. Now we can get ready and get into the show. Listen, man, my energy is high, man. I'm hot. I'm burning up. I got on. Listen. Get ready. Get ready, right? Because the Fired Up Train is moving through this station. The Fired Up Train is moving through this station, man. And before we get it started, look, I don't want you to say a word, right? Just be here for a second, right? We just had a moment of silence, right? I want you to feel what this moment actually is. 200 episodes, 3 seasons, right? Thousands of hours of preparation, thousands of hours of confrontation, thousands of hours of confession, right? Thousands of hours of truth poured into this very mic, right? This very microphone. And tonight, man, right now at 9 p.m. on a Thursday, we are standing on the other side of season 3, The Reckoning, right? Now, I know what you're expecting tonight. You're expecting me to bring somebody out, a name, a face, a guest who was going to sit across from me and deliver something powerful that could carry you home, right? No. Mm-mm. As my mom used to do, boo. No, not tonight, right? Not tonight. I'm going to stop you right there, right? Because tonight, episode 200, the season finale of The Reckoning, the special guest is already here, and that special guest has been here every single Thursday at 9 p.m. Every single episode of The Final Boss, all 5 episodes, 5 times a week, right? That special guest is in the chat, right? That special guest is in the chat, right? Right now. The special guest is streaming from their car. streaming from their living room, streaming from another country, streaming from a place that I will probably never physically visit, right? The special guest is the one who found this podcast when they needed it most. The one who shared it with somebody who was struggling, right? The one who pressed play on any day of the week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? When they could have done something else. And tonight, that special guest is you, right? That special guest is you, all 350,000 of you plus, right? And this entire episode, every segment of this episode, every question, every moment of truth is designed for you to be the answer, right? This is episode 200. Let's honor it, baby. Woo! Right? Now, before we get into the meat of the conversation tonight, right? Before I start asking the questions that are going to make some of you uncomfortable in the best possible way, as I love to do, right? Because this is the Final Boss podcast. This is where we have the most difficult of complicated conversations, right? The most difficult of conversations, right? Think about it. I need you to take 4 minutes with me, right? To talk about season 3 first, right? Because I think some of you are walking around calling yourselves survivors of the reckoning without fully understanding what you survived, right? We named this season the reckoning because most people want the reward, right? Without the reckoning. They want the trophy without the training. They want the crown without the crucible, right? They want to stand on top of the mountain without ever carrying the weight of the climb. So they arrive at the foot of greatness and then they stop. And we talked about that in episode 192, the victory of defeat, right? The reckoning is a forced confrontation with truth, not comfortable truth, not the truth you tell at by the water cooler or at parties, right? Or in general conversation, right? We're talking about the truth you hide from at 2 a.m., right? When the house, your home, your apartment, wherever you're living, is quiet. And your mind starts asking questions you've been avoiding that entire day, right? And you ask yourself, did you really give everything you had to this season of reckoning? Are you actually who you say you are, right? Or are you bull jiving, faking the funk, right? Playing possum, right? Are you actually who you say you are? Are you a smart? Are you a final boss? Are you a motivator? Are you a warrior, right? Is the life you're living aligned with the person you claim to be becoming? Think about it. Think about that, right? That's what season 3 asked every single episode. But not just for you and not just for me. It was for all of us, right? We're on this journey together. The Final Boss podcast, Final Boss Nation, Final Boss family, Final Boss community is a journey, right? It's in precedence of an entire conglomerate, right? Millions upon millions of people, right? Are you claiming, right? Are you claiming? Or are you still pursuing? Well, God damn it, it's time to become. It is time to become. That's what season 3 asked every single episode in different languages, throughout different frameworks, with different energy. The same core question kept showing up. Are you who you claim to be when no one is watching? Listen, smarts, final bosses, motivators, warriors. I'm the final boss. And I'm always the final boss, right? Always, right? Always the final boss, right? This is it. I've been pursuing. It's time to become, right? So we talked about the desire paradox, right? We talked about the victory has defeated you. We walked through the 6 pillars of execution. We explored the 5 scales of empire. And throughout all of it, the reckoning kept showing up like a drill sergeant who didn't care about your feelings, only your growth, right? Season 3 was the crucible, right? If you don't know what that means, go look it up. It's a new word for you. And it's egregious that you don't know what the word is, right? And I'm blaming you with the highest level of visceral intent, right? The highest level. And tonight, we find out through you who came out of it forged and who came out of it just tired. Look, I'm tired too. Listen, this season has wore me out, right? Wore me out, right? Some days I showed up like a punk ass bitch, right? A punk ass bitch. But let me explain to you why I made the decision that I made tonight, right? Why I looked at episode 200, the biggest episode in the history of this podcast, and said the most powerful thing I can do is make you the center of it, right? Because here's what I know about guests, right? Guests are great, right? I've had some great guests on the show. Great guests can hold up a mirror, right? Great guests show you a version of possibility. They can show you what's possible that you hadn't given yourself permission to believe in yet, right? Great guests say the thing you needed to hear in the way you needed to hear it, right? And I watched this community, all 350,000 of you plus, right? All you guys, all, right? Hold up mirrors for each other every single week. In the comments, right? In the DMs, in the shares, in the tags, in the moments where one person said to another, right? This is for you. I thought of you when I heard this. You need this message, right? You have been doing the great guest job this entire time, right? So tonight, I'm just making it official. Tonight, you're not the audience. You are the testimony. You are the evidence. You are the proof that the reckoning produced the necessary results, right? And here's how tonight works. I'm going to speak directly to you. I'm going to ask you the questions. I'm going to call on this community live and in real time to respond, to reflect, to engage, right? Not as spectators, but as participants, right? Drop your answers in the chat, respond in the comments, let your voice be a part of this broadcast, right? Because episode 200 should not just be something you watched, it should be something you were a part of, right? If you're in the chat right now, Drop a fire emoji and tell me where you're watching from, right? Drop your city, state, country, wherever, right? Let's see where our people are at, right? Let's see, right? I see some of you. Some of you are looks like a lot of people on the East Coast. Oh, we got some folks that are in India. Okay, okay. India representing. Oh, we got a lot of people in India. Hey, what's going on? I see you, Hassan. Yeah, we got a lot of people in India, man. Oh, some people in California. Okay, all right. We got people all. Oh, wait a minute. Got somebody from Russia. Okay, all right. Thank you. I appreciate you. Look at this, man. Look at the community showing up. That is the special guest. Okay, Mo County in the building, right? GA in the building, right? Yeah, man. I see you. That's the special guest tonight. You, right? Right there, every single one of you. You guys are tonight's special guests. And look, I'm going to ask you a question, right? I see you. I see you, GA. I gave you a shout out. I'm going to ask you the question tonight that I normally reserve for guests who are sitting across from me in the chair, right? And I need you to go somewhere real with me and with this, right? Not the highlight reel, but the raw version, right? The truth, absolute, right? I want you to think about the moment, your specific moment where everything could have ended for you. The moment where the logical, reasonable, sensible choice was to stop moving forward, to fold, right? To accept a smaller version of your life and call it realistic. You know that moment I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? You don't have to say it out loud, right? But you know, life has been lifing. It's been lifing for all of us. But I want you, right, to be sitting with it right now, right? Relish in that energy. Feel it, right? If it's a memory, feel it. If you're in that space right now, feel it, right? Because here's what I know about the reckoning, right? It always goes back to that moment. Every time you're facing a new obstacle, every time the doubt creeps back in, every time the comfort of quitting starts to feel reasonable again. And we talked about quitting in Go Time 1, right? We talked about that, right? It traces back to that origin wound, right? It goes back to that moment. That first moment where you learned that life was harder than you thought and that you were either going to let that harden you or you was going to let it break you, right? A lot of you are here and you choose to be here. You decided to allow it to harden you, right? That's why you're here, right? Drop it in the chat if you're willing to share. Even just one word that describes the season of your life, right? Just one word. Because I want you to see right now how many people in this community have a word sitting in that same place, right? So listen, people are facing losses, family and friends. People are facing divorce, bankruptcy. Oh, thank you for sharing. Some people are addiction. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Blessings to you, right? You'll get through it. Some people are sharing grief. Some look, oh, you got fired? Oh man. Look, I I am listen, I I feel your pain. I'm there with you, right? And the community is there as well, right? Some people are alone, tired of trying relationships, right? Somebody, we're gonna pray for you, right? So somebody is ill, very ill, suffering from I'm not gonna broadcast their illness, but it's in the chat, right? Some people are broken, some people say they're being betrayed by the people that are the closest to them, right? All of you in the community, thank you for sharing. Look at that, right? Look at that, right? Mm. Every single one of you and every single one of those things that you're going through right now. Yes, and being a caregiver as well, right? Every single one of you, right? Every single one of those situations belong to not just you, but others like you, right? But those who decided to be here tonight, those who are still watching and are still building and still fighting, every single one of those situations is a wound that won't win. It won't win, right? It won't win because you gave it a name. You announced it, right? It hasn't defeated you. You recognize it for what it is, and you still push on. You still push on, right? I dropped my magic wand. You still push on, right? And that right there, that right there in the chat, that's a powerful testimony for hundreds of people, right? That is what this microphone has carried the entire season 3, right? You survived and you continue to move forward. You know where the origin of that wound is, but you are healing from it. And tonight you showed up for the reckoning season 3 so you can become. And that is the definition of a warrior, right? That's the definition of a warrior. Now, I want you to go somewhere else with me, right? But we're going to go somewhere a little bit more specific, right? Because your origin wound, the external crisis, that's one kind of hard that you could feel in your chest, right? But there's a different kind of heart that I believe is actually more dangerous, right? And that is the moment the reckoning came not from the outside, but from the inside, right? The moment you had to face yourself, not a circumstance, not an obstacle, not an enemy, right? An enemy you could point to, rather. But the moment you looked in the mirror and had to admit something true about yourself that you had been running from, and that's when you had to become the villain to the bad guy, right? The villain to the bad guy, right? Maybe, just maybe, you realize you had been self-sabotaging your own success because some part of you didn't believe you deserved it. Right? Maybe you recognize that you've been blaming other people for outcomes that were actually your responsibility, right? Maybe you had won enough to get comfortable, and comfortable had started quietly to put its foot on your neck and chokehold everything that you made great. I've been calling that the desire paradox all season long. The hunger that drives you to build can be destroyed by the achievement itself. You reach the goal, episode 200. You get the thing, right? And then one morning you wake up and the fire that used to get you out of bed before sunrise doesn't come. And you think you're resting, but you're not resting. You're quietly dissolving, right? Quietly dissolving. I want to ask the community. I want to ask you right now, and I need some real answers, right? I need some real answers. Raise your hand, right? Raise your hand. Drop a hand emoji, right? If at any point during season 3 you felt your hunger starting to go quiet, right? Not because things were bad, but because things were good enough, right? If comfort started to feel like success, if you caught yourself coasting, drop it right now. Drop a hand emoji in the chat, right? That right there is the most honest this community has ever been with itself publicly, right? And the fact that you can identify that moment, the fact that you can name it, means the reckoning already did its work, right? Because you cannot fix what you refuse to see, right? The question is, what did you do about it when you saw it, right? What did you do about it? Listen, we've been building the 6 pillars of execution all season. Hold on. Man, damn, that's good. Man, not having a Coke in months and then have one, man, that is some type of good. Listen, we've been building the 6 pillars of execution all season long, right? I've taught them. I've explained them. I've applied them through different lenses and different conversations. But tonight on episode 200, I want to do something we've never done before. I want to test the 6 pillars against your life, right? Not hypothetically, but actually, right? Here, and you know what? Here are the 6, right? Because I want you to be completely honest with yourself as I read them through, or read them to you, right? Because it's necessary to be precise. So I'm gonna take the time out to read them, right? And it's coming out of Go Time, All Aboard the Fired Up Train, right? Go Time, All Aboard the Fired Up Train, right? So the first one is going to be vision, right? Got my placemaker. Vision, the ability to see what doesn't exist yet and build toward it anyway, right? Build toward it anyway. And be honest. Do you have a clear, written, specific vision of your life? Or do you have a great general feeling about the direction you want to go? But you're calling it a vision. That's not a vision. A vision needs to be put on paper, right? And then there's pillar number 2. This we talk about this a lot, man. Discipline, right? Not motivation. Discipline. Not inspiration. Discipline. The boring, daily, non-negotiable decision to show up whether you feel like it or not. Where did your discipline break down this season? Because everybody's did somewhere, right? Everybody's did somewhere. And then pillar number 3, which is resilience, right? Resilience. The capacity to absorb loss, failure, and impact it without letting it determine your direction, right? What hit you this season that you absorbed? What bent you without breaking you, right? And then there's pillar number 4, right? Sorry about that. Pillar number 4. Right? It's execution. The bridge between idea and reality, right? How many ideas did you have this season that never became results? How many plans are you still living in that's still living in your head or on a piece of paper in your notes, right? Or on your app, your notes app, right? That deserve to be living in the world. And then there's pillar number 5, right? That's accountability. Accountability, right? Ownership of your outcomes, good ones and bad ones. What did you blame on someone or something else this season that was actually yours to own? And then there's pillar number 6. That is legacy, right? Legacy. The long game, right? The long game. The question of what remains when you're no longer in the room. All from Go Time. All from Go Time, right? The fired up train. Now, drop in the chat. Which pillar is your weakest right now? Right? Drop it in the chat. Just a number, right? 1 through 6. Which one needs the most work healing going into season 4, which starts mid-March, right? So you're going to have some time to work on self. If you're not caught up for the if you're not caught up yet, you need to go back. Go back. But be ready mid-March, right? And to my smarts, right? To my smarts. Do you see what the data of this community is telling us right now? These are not random answers. These are patterns, and the patterns are information, and the information applied with intention becomes power, right? Study what this community just told you about where the next level of growth lives, right? Now, I'm going to drop some truth. I'm going to drop some truth on you guys, right? That the algorithm doesn't reward. It never does, right? The algorithm hates truth. Trust me, right? And believe it or not, the highlight reel doesn't show it either, right? Never in the clips. I be looking too. Never in there, right? I need this community to hear and receive, right? Not defensively, but let's be honest, right? We live in a world that has built an entire content industry around the pursuit of success. The grind, the hustle, the 4 a.m. alarm, and the cold shower, and the no days off mentality, right? And there's truth in that, real truth. I've preached different versions of it, right? But here's what nobody wants to say out loud publicly, right? Success is one of the most dangerous things that can happen to a person who isn't ready for it, right? Because success, real success, does something to your hunger that failure never could. Failure keeps you hungry. Failure keeps you motivated. Failure keeps you in the fight because you have something to prove. Success can make you soft in ways that are nearly invisible until it's too late. And this is what I've been calling all season. This is what I mean by the victory has defeated you. The most dangerous enemy you will ever face is not your competition. It is not the market, it's not the economy or the people who don't believe in you. The most dangerous enemy you will ever face is the version of you that already won. That version has evidence. That version can look at the scoreboard and say, look what I built, and use that accomplishment as a reason and make it sound legit. Make it sound legit. Right? Legitimate enough to slow down. Say you've done enough. It's okay. You reached episode 200. It's okay. Right? So what I want to ask the community right now, the hardest question of the night right now. What did you build this season? Right? And did the building of it make you more hungry or less hungry? What's your next move? What's your next move? Drop it in the chat, right? And be honest. Nobody's grading you. We just sharing, man. This community, the show is about you tonight, right? Listen. There's no wrong answer here, right? No wrong answer here, right? The wrong answer is the one you don't say, right? Because what you don't say becomes the thing that quietly runs your decisions without your permission, right? Name it, own it, and then we move forward. And that's what final bosses do, right? Now, right? Let's take a brief moment, right? Let's take a brief moment. Because there's something I have to say that has nothing to do with pillars, frameworks, or community activation, right? I need to talk about the size of what we're actually building, right? Almost 400,000 people. Can you imagine talking in front of 400,000 people. Do you even have an idea of what that may look like? What that may look like? Imagine, right? The average NFL stadium holds anywhere between 80 to 100,000 people. Imagine talking in front of 4 stadiums full of people, right? Imagine that. And that's across all platforms, right? In cities and countries and time zones that I'm unfamiliar with, right? That span across the entire planet in different languages, right? People who found this podcast through a recommendation, through an algorithm, through a friend, or somebody who cared enough to share, right? I want you to hear this, and I want you to hear it well, right? This is what I want the worldwide audience to feel right now, right? I want you to understand. You, yes, you, each and every last single one of you. You are not a number in a statistic. You're not a follower count or a metric on a dashboard. You, my friend, are a human being, right? A human being who made a decision actively, consciously to invest your time and your attention into something that you believe will make you better. That decision matters. That decision is not small, right? And right now, at this exact moment, there is someone watching this from a place I would never physically visit, a city I might never see, a circumstance I might not be able to fully understand. And they have been tuning in week after week in private, not commenting, not engaging publicly, just quietly receiving the message and letting it do the work for them, right? I want to speak to that person specifically, right? Listen, you are not on the outside of this community looking in. You have never been on the outside. Every time you press play, you were in this. Every time this podcast showed up on a hard day and gave you one more reason to keep going, you were a part of this, right? Episode 200 carries all of our fingerprints, right? So whatever or wherever you are in the world right now, whatever you're carrying, whatever you are building, whatever you are fighting through in silence, the Final Boss podcast sees you, right? You are a final boss. Full stop. No asterisks required, right? Drop in the chat where you're watching from tonight, and let's make this map real, right? Let's see, right? Let's see. I mentioned earlier, right? We mentioned Russia. We mentioned, we got some UK people. Okay, thank you, UK. Oh man, I love Ireland. I love Ireland is really green. I love Ireland, man. I had Guinness at 5 a.m. when I visited Ireland, right? And we got people all over, man. Right? You guys are the special guests. Every last single one of you, right? Now, every last single one of you. Right? And look, thanks for sharing. Thank you. Everybody that shared, thank you for sharing, man. Right. Look, I'm gonna step away for a second, right? There are some things that I need to say, right? On this specific microphone right here, right? On this specific episode that I've never said with this much clarity before, right? When I was in the military and we would be executing missions, right? And doing what we do as soldiers, right? There have been moments where I witnessed this world change in real time, right? On those deployments, I watched the outside world change, right? We're in one of those moments right now where the deployment is the real life. The deployment is where you at, where you're sitting at. You're in a deployment and the world is changing around you, right? I want to tell you something about those moments, all right? Not that they aren't full of drama, because they are, right? Not for the effect, right? But because it is the foundation of everything we've built to this point, right? Those moments and these moments right here, these moments of deployment that you're sitting in right now, these moments are the ones that will calibrate you, right? These moments are the ones that would burn away every assumption, right? These moments will burn away everything that you thought was guaranteed, right? These moments are the moments that will shed light on things that you thought were promised, right? These moments are about the eventuality of something being a real option, right? For the things that mattered most. And then, like a flip of the switch, it changes, right? I learned a lot in those deployments, as I'm learning a lot in this deployment that we're in right now, right? These moments are real. These moments are real, right? They're real, and you're standing in it, right? As I served in 2 combat tours in Afghanistan and Iraq, right? War teaches you something, right? War teaches you something that no classroom, business book, or motivation content can ever fully teach you, right? The difference between what actually matters and what just feels like it matters. War burns everything away, right? It burns everything away that is not essential. You, right? You're at war. It's time to face it. What you're sitting in right now is a war, right? You feel it weekly. You're asking yourself, do I need this? And if it's not needed and it's not essential, you do away with it, right? You're in war. You're in survival mode, right? You're on a deployment, right? And as you continue in this war, you start to understand that things that are not essential, right? And the things that are left survive the fire. Those are the things worth building your life around, right? What survived for me was the legacy, the service, the truth, and my beautiful daughter, of course, right? You guys know about, I've served for DOD for some time, right? It was a career that most people will look at and say, that's enough. You've done enough. All the awards, the accolades. My last position was branch chief, right? It was safe. It was safe, right? Until it wasn't, right? And it wasn't about because the mission wasn't honorable, because it was. But it was about my next mission, the one I was actually born to execute, that required me to bet everything on the version of myself that I hadn't fully built yet, right? It was the soldier in the field looking for his enemy, right? I walked away from guaranteed, right? and bet it on self. I was the soldier in the middle of the desert, right? Looking for self. And every warrior watching this right now, you know what I'm talking about, right? You know what I'm about to say because you've lived a version of this truth. The mission doesn't end when the tour is over. The mission evolves, the battlefield changes, the enemy changes, but the warrior, the real warrior, keeps moving forward, right? So when people ask, why do I do this podcast 5 times a week at 9 p.m. live without fail? The answer is simple. Legacy, right? And because 350,000 plus all over of you all over the world are watching, right? And because the version of me that survived those deployments, that survived life itself to this point, right? I owe it to the world to leave something behind worth finding, right? Everything I build says the name first always, and that would never change, right? That would never change. Right? Now, let's talk about season 3. Thank you for that. I had to let you guys know where you are right now, right? In this life. Season 3, The Reckoning, is closing, right? And the reckoning, before it closes, gets to deliver its final verdict. And I want you to engage with this in real time, right? Not passively, actively, right? Actively, right? This is the moment where you become the testimony, right? 5 questions, right? The reckoning's final 5. Answer them honestly, not for the chat, not for me, for yourself, right? Answer them for yourself, right? Question number 1. You just keep your word to yourself this season, right? Not to your audience, not to your boss or your partner, but in private. The private promises, right? The comments, the commitments nobody else knows about, right? Drop a yes or a no, right? Just between you and the screen right now. And then there's question number 2, right? Did you grow past your last excuse? You know, that one go-to excuse that you keep telling yourself, the one that sounds reasonable, right? The one that has just enough truth in it to be convincing, but you only convincing yourself. You only convincing yourself. Everybody else knows it's an excuse, right? Especially those with discernment. We know, but it's okay, right? It's okay. All right. Did you outgrow it? Right? Did you outgrow it this season, or are you walking into season 4 still carrying it? And then question number 3, right? Did you show up when showing up was hard? Not when you were motivated, not when the conditions were right and the mood was aligned, when it was hard, inconvenient, and nobody was watching. Did you show up anyway? Right? And then question number 4, right? Did you protect your hunger? Or did your wins make you soft? Did your progress this season fuel you for the next level? Or did you give yourself a quiet reason to decelerate, tap on the brakes, and call it earned rest? Right? And then question number 5. Are you more dangerous than you were at the start of season 3? Not wealthier necessarily, right? Not more comfortable, more precise, more aligned, right? More equipped, more dangerous, more spiritual. Right? Look at that, right? That's evidence. That is evidence. If you answered yes to even one of those 5 questions, the reckoning finds you worthy. Not perfect worthy, but worthy, right? And worthy of season 4, worthy of the rebirth, worthy of every single thing that is coming next. The reckoning has been watching every move you made this season, and its verdict is that you made it through. The reckoning is the shadow that is over your back right now, approving your honesty, right? Approving your honesty. Now, let me give you something that I don't normally give, right? Right. We're gonna talk about season 4 real quick, right? We're gonna talk about season 4. Because every final boss in this community deserves to know what they're walking into so they can begin to prepare, right? Because season 4 is called The Rebirth, right? And the opening episode, The Rebirth, is titled To Become Nothing and Everything All at Once, right? Now let that sit for a second. To become nothing and everything all at once, right? Because this is something I learned, right? And you know, I've already started the preliminary work for my doctoral work in AI foundations and ethical considerations, right? And man, these conversations are like the prerequisite, right? This is the empire level legacy that is more strategy, right? It isn't not it's not about um a better morning routine, right? It's not about the next framework, right? Or the next mentor, or even the next course or outcome, right? It is the death of ego, right? It's the death of the. You have to kill the ego, man. You have to kill the ego. I've been saying it for a long time. You got to kill the ego, right? The complete disillusion of the version of you that has been protecting its own image, defending its own story, managing the perception other people have of who you are, and asking yourself the question that most people are terrified to actually answer: who am I when none of that exists? Right? And for you stubborn people out there, listen, it's time to upgrade, man. It's time to upgrade. Your OS puts you in that stubborn comfortability because you refuse to break through the next ceiling. That stubbornness is weakness, right? When the title is gone, when the followers are gone, when the accomplishments are gone, when everything you've used to define yourself is stripped away, what is left? Who are you actually, right? That is season 4. That is the rebirth. And I want to ask this community right now, because you are the special guest tonight. What is the one identity, the one label, the one version of yourself that you are most afraid to let go of, right? Drop it in the chat, right? Just one word, the title, the role, the persona, right? Drop it in the chat, right? Every single one of you and every single one of those things, right? As real as they are earned, right? Earned, and has the potential to become a ceiling if you're not willing to release it when the time comes, right? Season 4 is going to ask you to release the ceiling, right? The 5 scales of empire that would carry us through the rebirth, they are not scales of hustle, they are scales of mastery. And you cannot master what you are still trying to protect, right? So get ready for the rebirth, right? Because rebirth is coming, right? Now, I want you guys to know something. Find a Boss podcast, Find a Boss community, Find a Boss family is evolving, right? And I'm going to lead this community into a future none of us fully seen yet, because you deserve to know how I'm preparing to lead it, right? You know what I'm doing in July. I don't need to tell you that, right? There's a brand that I'm building that comes along with that, right? And I want you to understand why this matters, right? Not as a vanity pursuit or a title chase, but as a strategic necessity for the community, right? For the world we are walking into together, for this very war that we're on deployment in, right? We're living through the most consequential technological transition in human history. The merger of human consciousness and machine intelligence is not science fiction anymore. It's science now, and it's happening right now in research labs, in the government corridors, in the devices you are using to watch this very broadcast, right? The questions being answered in those rooms right now will determine what work means, right? What identity means and what it means to be human in a world where the line between biological and digital intelligence is dissolving, right? And those questions need more than technologists answering them. They need voices from communities like this community that have historically been left out of the rooms, right? Where the most powerful decisions get made. They need people who understand what it means to be a human being under pressure, under fire, building something from nothing with everything on the line as you are building right now on deployment in war, right? They need to find a boss at the table, right? Merger Wednesdays, right, is the series we've been building. The exploration of injectable nanotechnology, smart blood systems, nanobots, and the 3-layer architecture, right? That's not entertainment. That's doctoral level research being made accessible to a community that deserves to understand what is coming before it arrives, right? Right? The brand I'm building, right? I'm building it because I'm on the verge of researching those answers, right? Through artificial and about artificial intelligence. Because I intend to be an authoritative, ethical human voice at the intersection of consciousness and technology, right? A voice that answers to this community first. And I want to ask you something right now on episode 200. What's your biggest question about the future of AI and what it means to your life, your career, your family, your legacy, right? Drop it in the chat. This is the conversation season 4 in the Merge book series that is coming is going to carry. These questions deserve answers, and your final boss is going to spend the next several years earning those credentials to give those answers to you at the highest level possible, right? And to my smarts, the next frontier of final boss's energy is not just hustle, it's mastery of the emerging world. You cannot win a game if you do not understand, if you don't understand it, right? I saw that. I saw that Jack Doherty. Yeah, I saw his channel got nuked. I saw that, right? You cannot win a game you do not understand. It's time for you to start understanding, right? And of course, without fail, we have to have the fired up train, right? We have to have the fired up train. All aboard! Because this is the last ride of the season. This is the last ride of season 3, and it is going global. Every time zone, every continent, every person watching from wherever you are in this world, this train is for you, right? Drop something in the chat right now. Let me feel the energy of all of you guys, wherever you are, right? I need my smarts in the building, the critical thinkers who came to the community to sharpen the mind and who refuse to let it go, right? Drop it in the chat. I need some of my final bosses to stand up. The empire builders playing the long game, stacking bricks when nobody's watching, building legacy instead of chasing attention. Drop it in the chat, right? I need my motivators in this chat, the coaches, the leaders, the ones who take what they learn and pour it into other people without keeping score and without asking for something in return. You're the reason the fire spreads, right? Drop it in the chat. And for my warriors, my battle tested, my combat proven, the ones who know what it means to be broken open, right? And rebuilt. The ones who carry weight that would crush most people and showed up anyway. Drop it in the chat, right? Drop it in the chat. Look at the community, man. Look at the people. Look at everybody, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for joining us, right? I appreciate you for being here. I got you. I got you. All right. I sure will. All right. Now, before we listen, this is right here. This is what 200 episodes is about, right? This is what The Reckoning produced. This is what every Thursday, right, at 9 p.m. looks like when you multiply it, right? Now, before we close, I need every person watching right now to do one thing, right? Not tomorrow, tonight. I need you to do something for me, right? Tag one person who needs this episode. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, right? The specific, and when you do that, right? Name something specific that you've been thinking about during this episode, right? That you want to share in a conversation with someone, right? The one that is carrying somebody who's carrying that heavy weight, right? Who has the world on their shoulders right now, who needs some help, right? The one who's on the edge of a breakthrough and doesn't even know it yet, right? Share this with them, right? Send them this episode. Tell them this, hey man, this is for you, right? I thought of you. You belong here. Be part of the community, right? Because that is how community grows, not through algorithms, not through human, but not through algorithms, but through human beings who care enough about other human beings, right? I see all of you and I know where you need to be, right? And that's on the fired up train, man. That's on the fired up train, right? So we're in the Fighter Strategy episode 200, man. And I want to do something that I've never done before. I'm going to hand the microphone to you, not metaphorically, actually right now in the comments, in the chat, and whatever platform you're on. I want you to finish one of these sentences, right? Not both, but one, right? Just one. The one that most resonates and most true to you right now. And here it is, right? Tell us what season 3 taught you, right? Season 3 taught me that I am capable of what? Blank, right? Or second question, the thing I'm walking into season 4 is to build what? And that's it, right? One sentence, your testimony right now, right? Now, what you're doing right now, I want you to understand something, right? This is not a comment section, right? This is a congregation of people who have done the work, who survived the reckoning, who are standing on the other side of season 3 with something real to show for it. The same people who are recognizing that you are actually in a deployment in life, right? And you're actually in war as you are removing non-essential items, right? For your survival, right? I want you to understand that this is not content. This is testimony, right? Each and every last single one of you have a testimony, right? And I want you to understand something about you, right? And what you've done this entire season, right? Drop it in a sentence by claiming your truth publicly, right? You made a declaration, and declarations have power. Declarations change the story your brain tells about you, about who you are and what you're capable of, right? That's right. Staying motivated and balanced and accountable. Thank you, Andre. Appreciate you. Yeah. Declarations change the story your brain tells about who you are and what you're capable of, right? You just told the reckoning what it produced in you. And the reckoning's response to every single one of those answers is this. Now go prove. Go prove it. You say you're staying motivated, go prove it. You say you're staying balanced, go prove it. You say you're staying accountable, go prove it. Go prove it in season 4, the rebirth. Now you see the transition. Now you see what it means to go from the reckoning to the rebirth, right? You are the most powerful guest this microphone has ever had. Not because of who you are on paper, but because of what you just proved you are willing to say out loud about who you're becoming, right? Who you're becoming. Yes, words have power. Words have power, right? Now, I've been on this microphone, man, for a while. We are a few minutes over. It's okay, right? This is these microphones and this one here, 200 episodes, 200 hours, right? I've talked about hunger. I've talked about go time. I've talked about discipline. I've talked about warfare. I've talked about uh, legacy. I've talked about love. I've talked about failure. I've talked about God, right? I've talked about I've talked about death. I've talked about the complicated. I've talked about the messy. I've talked about powerful human beings, powerful human things that are in between, right? I've built frameworks and broken them down. I've preached standards. I've had to live up. Uh, I've even had to live up to some of those things in my own private life, right? I've told this community to bet on themselves while simultaneously betting everything on myself, right? And tonight, on the night that was supposed to feature a special guest, I looked at this very chair that I'm sitting in, right? And I said, who deserves to sit here, right? And then I said to myself, my special guest, who deserves to sit in those chairs? And the answer that kept coming back to me that resonated was that, and it was obvious, right? You, all of you, deserve to be in those chairs. You deserve to be the special guest, right? The person who pressed play on episode 1 when nobody knew what this was. The person who found episode 47 or episode 112 or episode 183 in the middle of a hard season and let it carry them through. The person who shares these episodes without being asked because they genuinely believe in what this community represents. You all deserve those seats as the special guest. So I gave it to you, right? And what you showed me tonight in the chat, in the comments, and the responses, and the testimonies, and the locations, the declarations is something that no guest I've ever brought on this show could ever match. Because guests can tell you what resilience looks like. You showed me what it actually is, right? A guest can describe what survival looks like. You proved it. You, all of you, you proved it, right? You proved it by being present, right? A guest can talk about legacy. You guys are building one in real time, right? Now, let me close this season, right? The way it deserves to be closed, right? Because the reckoning is not a season of a podcast. The reckoning is a standard. It is a permanent internal auditor that lives in the chest of every final boss who took this season seriously. Every time you consider taking a shortcut, the reckoning is watching. It's over your shoulders. It's the shadow that's behind you, right? Every time you consider taking a shortcut, the reckoning is watching. Every time you think about settling for comfort, the reckoning taps you on your shoulder. Every time you start to believe that where you are is as far as you go, the reckoning reminds you of every moment you've already survived, right? And guess what? You survived them all. You're still here, right? Greatness is not given to the most talented. It is not given to the best connected or the most resourced or the most naturally gifted. Greatness is given. It's earned. It's seized. And is done by the most relentless, right? The ones who refuse to stay down, not because the pain isn't real, but because they understand that getting up is the mission, right? If you're still breathing, you're still eligible, right? And to my daughter, if you ever watch this, even if it's decades from now, right? When I'm no longer here, right? You go into the archives and you're able to watch this. And you watch this episode, right? And you're old enough to understand what your dad was trying to build and exactly why he was building it. I need you to know one thing. Every episode, every early morning, every late night, every sacrifice, and every risk, and every moment I choose the uncertain path over the guaranteed one was never really about the podcast or anything. It was about showing you what it looks like when someone who loves you more than anything in this world refuses, absolutely refuses to settle for less than life, to settle for less than what in life that they were created for, right? So that when your reckoning comes, and it will come, because that is what it means to be great. You already know exactly how to answer it because your dad answered his publicly 5 times a week, 9 p.m. for 200 episodes straight, right? Season 3, The Reckoning. This case is closed. The verdict is in. You made it. Now go build something worth reckoning with, right? Season 4, The Rebirth, is coming. Stay hungry. Stay dangerous. Stay in the fight. I am the Final Boss. And this has been the Final Boss Podcast, episode number 200, season 3, The Reckoning. Go time. It's go time, baby. It's go time. It is go time, man. And listen to each and every last single one of you. Thank you for joining us, man. This is it. This is the end. Man, we are done with this season. It is gone. It is out of here. Bye-bye. Sayonara. It is off on the train to another destination, right? Oh, man. To all of you, man, no matter where you're watching, whether you're watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, Kick, TikTok, Spotify, Instagram, LinkedIn, X, wherever you're watching from, man, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. We have enjoyed you this entire season. You've been a part of the community. You've been a part of the family. You've been a part of the nation. Look, go check out our website, man. Go see all of our episodes right now at thefinalbosspodcast.com. One word, thefinalbosspodcast.com, all one word. Shoot us an email, man. Shoot us an email at info@thefinalbosspodcast.com. If you'd like to be a part of the show, man, season 4, we're going to be having other hosts on aligned with the network, right? The Final Boss Network. Other hosts who are going to be sitting in one of these chairs, hosting their own show, right? With their own topics and their own discussions, their own community, right? On the Final Boss Network. If that is something that you're interested in, shoot us an email at info@thefinalbosspodcast.com. Hexadecimal, who is our AI agent, is going to be vetting you. She's going to interview. She's going to be doing the vetting for that. She's going to be doing all the heavy lifting. Shoot us the email so we can get that information to you. Look, season's been crazy. Look, man, I'm excited, man. Season 4 starts mid-March. Season 4 starts mid-March, man. We're going to take a couple weeks off, have some things to tighten up. Season 4 will be here mid-March, right? So be ready for that, right? The rebirth comes mid-March. And at the same time, man, Go Time 1, all aboard the fired up train, is right here. And be on the lookout for something that is coming during the spring rebirth. Something special, something only to the community, right? And it's only going to be for one day, 24 hours, man. 24 hours. And that's it, man. More about that coming when season 4 starts, right? Then, sometime along the way in season 4, we're going to have Go Time 2, right? And then we got some other products that are coming along, including the merch site, right? The merch site is on its way, right? And look, as always, thank you for being here. And to each and every single one of you, I say this all the time. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. This has been the Final Boss Podcast. All aboard the fired up train. Listen, if this resonated with you, man, don't gatekeep. Share it out with at least 3 people, man. And if it does resonate with you, let it marinate in your spine. And remember this, there's a heavy pain that comes with discipline, but the pain of regret is even heavier. I am here. We are here. And it is time to go. Be balanced, be equal, and be safe, man. Good night.
Welcome to the Final Boss Podcast, where microphones and mushroom clouds collide in the most mind-blowing chats. We're talking explosive topics, fiery debates, and the hottest guests. Imagine a creative space background, spacey vibes, and out-of-this-world conversations. It's like chilling with your best buddies, but with way cooler sound effects. Every episode, we take on the universe's biggest questions. You know, the stuff that keeps you up at night. And we do it with a bang. Want to know what happens when you mix gaming, movies, and pop culture? Boom! You get the Final Boss Podcast. So plug in those earbuds and get ready for a wild ride. Whether you're commuting, chilling, or just need a break, we've got your back. Hit that follow button and join us on this cosmic journey. Trust me, you don't want to miss these explosive chats. Catch the Final Boss Podcast now, where every episode is a blast. Stay tuned and stay awesome. Final Boss Podcast, bringing the boom to your